Welcome back to the homestead. It is July 22nd, and I have decided to dig up the potatoes. I could have left them until like the tops completely died, which is what you're supposed to do, but I wanted to plant some blackberry seedlings that I just got, and I don't have enough Miracle-Gro, and I don't really want to dig more dirt. So instead I'm going to dump out the potatoes and steal their dirt. I figure it's not really going to hurt anything. I also just really curious to see how many potatoes there are. And here's everything we got from our little potatoes. So from the fingerlings we only got one white one, and then most of them are black with two little red ones. Oh nope, there's two. There's this little baby one. So there's two white ones. And some of these are just so little, it's hilarious. Look at that. It's the littlest potato ever. And in this bin there was originally 9 potatoes. And the reason why there's so few is because if you remember, for pretty much the first 2 months of these potatoes' lives, they were only in soil about that deep. So all of these came from the bottom layer. I was hoping the potatoes would spread to the upper layers, but they didn't actually do that. But seeing as we only put 9 potatoes in there to begin with, that is a potato profit. These ones, same problem. They were in about that much soil for the first 2 months of their lives. And there was actually only one potato in here. It was just one whole potato to see what it would do. And so these are all, I'm assuming, russets. It was just a potato I got from my sister. The other thing I thought I'd mention about our little potatoes is that they weren't dying from age like I thought, since they were pretty old plants. They actually didn't have enough water, because I haven't been watering them, because every time I checked they were really wet. The beds they were in were really wet, and what it turned out was the hay was really wet that was in there, but the soil itself was actually completely dry, so they died from lack of water. And I might also get some of those glass beaker watering things so that it can water from the bottom instead of me dumping water on top, because a bottom fed watering system would keep the straw from absorbing all the water, because the straw does not really need the water. Hello, it is July 24th, I want to say. It could be the 23rd, I can't remember. And our rain barrel is out of water completely. So what I'm going to be doing is taking water from our cistern, which we fill from a well that one of my uncles has, and has about 100 gallons in it, I think. Right now it's like a 500-gallon cistern, but it currently has 100 gallons. But since they've been sitting, the water's been sitting in there since the start of the year, it tastes kind of gross. So we're planning to dump it anyway, so what I'm doing is load by load taking our plastic tubs and filling them on the wagon, and then bringing them over and dumping all the water into the rain barrel. And hopefully by the end of the day we will have enough water to actually water our plants, because last night I did not have enough. But I was too late and I was too tired to do all the hauling around of the water. I'll only be able to fill each load halfway, because if I go above that point when I'm walking, all of it's just gonna spill out. It'll also make it a lot heavier, so hopefully this doesn't take a super long time since I'm only doing half loads. I think each of these buckets is about 10 gallons, so, well, maybe 20. So maybe 10 gallons per load. I also just remembered that I need to replace the support that this thing is on, because the pellet we chose is disintegrating. So while this thing is empty, I'm gonna move it and either build one from the ground up or find something else to set it on. I've got 3 2x4s on their tall side, so that they're 4 inches tall, And then I'm going to be screwing them each to a little frame board like this one that is 2 feet wide. And then after I've done all that, I am going to put these plastic coated whiteboards on top. I don't even know where they came from. We probably salvaged them from a shelf or something. The frame's done, and now to put the top boards on. And there we have it. Ideally, it won't disintegrate in 3 days like the last one. After getting it about half full, I'm going to water the garden because I think I'm about 2 hours behind watering. It looks like it might actually rain, but that wasn't in the forecast, so I don't know. It feels like it's gonna rain. Everything's been watered, and now for the fun part of owning a garden, I'm gonna pick some of these snow peas. A little pile of beans, and an even littler pile of strawberries. Now after picking the little peas and watering the garden and gathering all the water and all of that, I'm actually gonna go through and pick the bee balm that's growing everywhere. I don't remember what bee balm is used for, but I remember knowing it does something. So these little plants right here. So these little plants right here with these spiky-ish leaves, that's bee balm. And the purple flowers over here are also bee balm. This is just mature bee balm. Good afternoon. It is July 24th, which means the month is almost over. I'll give you guys a rough tour of anything interesting that has happened in the garden since the last time I showed you, or since I think the last time I showed you, because I can't remember what I show you guys half the time. There's a little bird nest right next to my house. Can't quite get the camera to focus on him or her and not the branches. There we go. Don't have any idea what variety that is. I haven't ever seen them before. We actually weren't sure there was a bird in there because we saw the tail. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, there's his little tail. We saw the tail, but it wasn't moving, and we thought that was weird, so I shook a branch, and then he stuck his head out. Our little pickle isn't very small anymore. It's 4 inches now. And then we have another little pickle, and an even tinier pickle. Super cute. Our lovely tomatoes have tons and tons and tons of flowers on them. And what I've actually been doing every evening before, like after I've watered and before I wrap up, is I run an electric toothbrush along the back of them. And that's actually something a lot of people do now. And all that does is imitate the buzzing of a bee, which kicks out the pollen so that they're more likely to be pollinated. The marigolds are doing really well. These are the ones I grew from those little teeny sprouts, or at least I think they are. Yep, those are the ones I grew from the little teeny sprouts. These ones are as well, but they are kind of being engulfed by the freaking snow peas, which are almost tall enough to touch the roof. I'm expecting I'll have to, well, not have to, I'm expecting these will be ready to pick again in 2 days. These 2, 3 are actually ready, but I'll do that well, no, I'll do it tonight because we're actually having peas for dinner, so I will grab those. These marigolds are doing okay too. Not as amazing, maybe that, or that's just how they look. These are the Jolly Jesters, but I haven't been watering these ones as much. I water the tomatoes more, so they tend to get cross-watered. Our African huckleberry has its first flowers, which is exciting. So we should be getting some berries soon. Our serrano that I bought from the store has a bunch of little babies on it. None of them are red yet. If a serrano is even supposed to be red, let me see. Yes, red serrano. These peas over here, the green arrows and the snap peas, also have little baby peas on them, which kind of just appeared out of nowhere. because I wasn't keeping a very good eye on them. I actually harvested some of these last night as well. Oh, but I might have missed one because that's a pretty good sized little snap pea. In the new salad, the new salad I just bought to replace the old salad that the arugula I picked, we've got little tiny sprouts, and the arugula is almost done seeding. There's a bunch of little pods on it, and so when those are ready to pick, those will be full of seeds. It's not wanting to focus though. I also had to water the potatoes today because I was neglecting them, and they look pretty sad, but I'm hoping they'll perk up because potatoes are pretty tough. These ones look way better, so I guess these ones must not get as much sun since they're diagonal to this barrel. We only have 2 little sweet potatoes, one right there, one right here, and there's a lot of weeds in this bed because I can't usually actually access it with all of the potatoes growing everywhere. We have hay, we have hay, wheat. Little wheat stalks growing, because again, I haven't weeded this bed, so the wheat that was growing in here just got to be full size. We have even more poppies than we did the other day. They're all closed for the night because they do that, but so we have 5 now. And tomorrow I'll try to show you those while they're blooming. Back here, our bee balm is trying to blossom, but I am actually not going to let it because there's enough wild bee balm for me to collect the seeds from. I'm actually gonna probably start picking the leaves from this guy as well. 3 little baby tomatoes. These are gonna be kept in pots the whole season, but they're probably also going to be put in the greenhouse. It also looks like some other little tomato sprouts have started. Right here I have a little mystery something. I think it's a cucumber, but I actually do not know. I found it sprouting in a random bed one day. Our lychee still haven't sprouted anything, but it feels pretty firm, so I think the root's growing. Most of our little, well, these 2 little strawberries are doing well. This one's starting to shrivel a little bit. And this one is not growing any new leaves, any baby leaves like the other ones. Our little medjool date has officially died. It was worth the experiment, but I'll do some reading up on how to actually grow those. I just wanted to see if I could do it without help. The millions of little apples I have in here are doing it really well. None of them have died yet. This one right here is a little bit yellow, but it actually was yellow when it sprouted, so I don't know why that would be. And down here I have a little tea garden that I'm growing for my sister as a little hanging basket. The big plant is some catnip I planted a very long time ago. And then in addition to that, there's also a little patch of chamomile, a little patch of tulsi, basil, and a little patch of lemon balm. Our little mystery squash is growing pretty well. There's another one over there too that is pretty big. Let's see if I can find it. It's right here. And it's doing even better than the first one, so hopefully we will actually get to find out what the squash is. This one is climbing the trellis now, so let's see what you are. This is one of the Burgess buttercups, doing really well. And I remember I planted that one about a month after the rest of the squash. Both of our kabocha squash are doing super well and climbing the trellis. And we have tons of runner bean flowers now. Our little baby spaghetti squash is doing well. It looks like it's bloomed. We seem to have another one right there. And let's see. It looks like there's another one here. And a little baby one right there. In addition to the little baby spaghetti squash, we do also have little baby pumpkins, if I can find them. I've seen them a few times, but now that I'm looking, here we go. Little pumpkin, And it looks like one of the male flowers did sprout, so hopefully there will actually be pollen to pollinate those. Some of these squash are trying to climb the wrong direction, so what I need to do is actually get some garden staples and staple them in the direction I want, because I do not have space over here for them to start growing. There was an extra little butternut squash growing in one of the beds, so I'm actually going to plant it over here in this spot that doesn't have anything except for weeds, because I never pulled the weeds because there was nothing there. Our little baby has been planted, so now I need to water it, and hopefully this trellis can handle all of those squash, especially the butternuts, because butternuts get a little bit bigger than I had built these for. There's no water left in the garden, so I'm gonna go fill this up with some more. I forgot to even show these. I ordered some Marion blackberries online, and I need to find somewhere to plant them. They're not actually made for our zone, so I need to see about either planting them in containers, or I might actually just give them to someone, because I don't think I have enough containers, since a lot of those containers are needed by the apples. There's something in my eye. I stopped for huckleberries and whipped cream. I think I might end up making this little clearing between these trees the blackberry patch. Good morning. It is July 26th. Today is the day I would normally edit this and upload it, but my mother is still... Hello, it is July 27th or 28th, I can't remember, as usual. Yesterday is the day I should have edited and uploaded this video, but I left the camera on and the battery died, so I did not have a camera for 2 or 3 days. So now I'm gonna go through and show you all the things that I did during those 2 days, because of course that was when I did literally everything. So my grandma actually did this, but we planted some Marion blackberries down here and built this little fence around it so that the deer wouldn't get them. All of our squash are growing crazy. The runner bean is especially growing crazy. I accidentally broke the tops off of 2 of our runner bean plants, and it does not look like they're going to replace them. So these ones might be done growing because I broke the tops off of them, trying to weave them through those bars. Every evening I've been going through and picking the bee balm. I think I'm gonna try and pick some flowers too, so any of the ones that look like they've already been pollinated I'm probably gonna pick and put in a different jar. We finally have little tomatoes. We have 3 little Costa Little Florentinos, and that actually is, this is one of the mystery tomatoes, but I kind of guessed that that's what that plant was, because it looks almost exactly like the other 2, or other 3 I have, because we have the twin ones. And I'm guessing that that short one is going to end up being a Roma, because the Romas are also short. We have lots of little poppies now. It's a little garden of poppies. No blue ones yet. I did mix some blue poppies into our variety, but they haven't sprouted yet, so hopefully we'll find 1 or 2 blue ones. Our potatoes have perked back up, so watering them helped. So now I'm watering those every evening as well, which takes a lot of water. We're currently having a bit of a problem with our zucchini and other squash because for some reason the only flowers that are blooming are the female flowers, so there are no male flowers to pollinate our things. This is the only male flower I've seen, and by the time the female flower comes around, the male flowers have already died. So I really don't know if we're going to be getting any properly pollinated squash. At least not anytime soon. This one had 2 male flowers, but again, the female flower died before either of those sprouted. The little tea garden I planted for my sister is starting to sprout. Mostly the chamomile, but some of the other ones are sprouting. And in a couple days, I am probably going to be planting all of these little apple trees in their own pots instead of the trays. Hello, good morning. I haven't filmed in about a week probably because nothing's really happened except the same things I do every day. So it's actually August 3rd. I'm about to pick some lettuce for my grandma, so I'll show you do that if I can get the gate open as usual. So the lettuce is actually doing pretty well. I've been watering it about twice a day, so it's perked up a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna pick all of it or just half of it, but we'll see. I'll leave at least one of each kind, like fully sized, because I do want to get seeds from each of the varieties. And I'm just gonna snip the tops off, because that's what my cousin does, and they apparently grow back, so we're gonna see if that works. So we got about 2/3 of a gallon. I did leave some of them that were smaller, and then the biggest one or two for each variety behind so that they could go to seed. There's actually a little ruby red lettuce mixed in with my my romaine over here, so that one is obviously doing a lot better than that one. So I guess the ruby red, I guess the romaine shielded it from the sun. I left a lot of the butter crunch so that my mom could have a salad too if she wants one. And I actually forgot I planted lettuce in this bed, so when we had the water shortage I didn't water it at all, and now it's too late to actually water. It's too late to replant those seeds because they need at least a month and a half. So as I've mentioned, I've been having problems with my squash pollinating themselves. So whenever I do have a male and a female bloom at the same time, I actually go and hand pollinate. A lot of the time I just break off the male flower and rub it on the female one. But today I think I'm actually gonna go dig out my Q-tips and swab that and then do it that way. The normal way, so that there's actually just the flower staying on there. I've got a little basket full of baby carrots, and my mom picked our first zucchini. It grew super fast, so hopefully we'll get more soon, because I don't think there's any others that are starting to grow on that plant yet.